What is up, guys? This is Theo coming at you with a brand new deck profile of my Melodious deck. Now, a lot of people have also asking me to do this deck, and I deliver as always. Now, I've done quite a lot of testing on this, and by the way, I'm going to do a little bit of discussion first before I get into deck profile. So if you don't want to hear me babble, you just want to see the list, skip forward a little bit. Now, to you people who are still listening to me, I've done a lot of testing with this deck. I really enjoy playing it. It's quite a cute deck. It's got a lot of cool combos, but there are some problems with it in the fact that it doesn't really have any good boss monsters. Now, I know Mozarta is pretty good, but the brand new level 7 from NECH is just so lackluster in my opinion. Yes, it does have cute combos where you can get Mozarta, then bring it out, then recycle something in your hand, or vice versa, but it's... The deck's pretty combo based, you know, combo heavy based, and you don't really want to add more inconsistent cards to it. The stats are pretty poor, and I know with all the stat modifiers in the deck with the monsters that you can increase by technically 500 or 300 or 700 or whatever, but it's just not good in my opinion. I just really didn't like it, and it really didn't fit nicely with me. A lot of people have seen with the different builds, we're using a kind of a level 8 build with trade-ins and utilizing 3 Mozarta, 3 Christia, things like Master Hyperion and such, and then you can recycle them with Call the Haunted. But when in testing against my better interest, because I didn't think the deck, that type of deck would work anyway, it clogged like a bitch. And I knew it would happen because the deck is already quite heavily combo based, as I've said. And adding in inconsistent cards just means that it's just going to end very badly. I really didn't like people putting in Master Hyperion personally, because I know that it's a cute trick that you can trade it in, then you can Call the Haunted it or whatever, or you can use it with Serenade as a single tribute, but it's just not good. The last thing I want to top deck is a Hyperion that I can't even special summon. I have to normal summon it or get it in the grave for Call the Haunted. And there are other things I would rather Call the Haunted. For example, I would much rather go for a Christia because it will stop a lot more things and stun my opponent. So that's why I didn't use trade-in. It just doesn't really work for me. But that's enough blabbering. I shall go straight into the deck profile so you can see my version. So to start it off, we have 2 of the Maestro herself, 2 Mozarta. Mozarta's pretty cool effect. It's once per turn, you can special summon 1 Light Fairy from your hand. You cannot special summon other monsters turn you activate this card effect, except for light monsters. So it's pretty cool. You can do some quite cool combos with it. Lots of recycling and so on and so forth, and it's not that difficult to get out with things like Serenade and such, and other cards I'll show you in the deck, but running it at 2 is kind of fine. You can run it at 2 or 1. I just prefer 2 because I like access to it, and that is that, so I'll run that at 2. One of your soft lock cards, Elegy. Elegy is a great card. Level 5, even though it's annoying. If it was level 4, it'd be broken. But if it's level 5 fairy, special summon Melodious monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. If this card was special summoned, all fairy type monsters you control gain 300 attack. Now, I want to say that the whole thing with all fairy type monsters gain 300 attack and defense, or they gain 500 attack and defense with one of the other ones, with Sonata. I really like that they've actually put in that clause. It's fairy type monsters and not just specific for the archetype. So it's really nice because it means that you do have a little bit of consistency, more consistency, and some nice synergy with the actual fairies that are existing in the game. But the soft lock is basically these 2, and I'll go into this in a sec. But Elegy at 2 is nice. I don't run it at 3. I did test it at 3, and it was just horrible because the last thing you want to see is this. You really don't want to draw it that often. And the only times you do want to draw it is when you've got Mozarta out, or you can do a transmodify play, which will obviously be in the deck, or Call the Haunted, so on and so forth. But you're really not going to normal summon this very often. One of the main cards in the deck that makes it what it is, 3 Aria. Aria is a great card. Basically, it's level 4 light. When this special summon card is on the field, Melodious monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Cannot be targeted by card effects, sorry, or can't be destroyed by battle. Now, the lock is basically these 2. Both special summoned on the field. It means that your Melodious monsters can't be destroyed by battle or card effects and can't be targeted by card effects. So it's a nice little lock that they've gone on there. There's not many things that can actually get around it. and it's just good. So having these two out is pretty broken. Well, I wouldn't go as far as broken actually, but it's pretty good. It locks down your opponent, and even just having this first turn special summoned is nice as well, because it does actually put a lot of problems up for your opponent. Having a monster that can't be targeted or destroyed by battle is just nice. So having 3 of these is a must in my opinion. If you play the deck, you play 3. Then we have 3 Cannon. Cannon's quite a nice card. The reason I have it in here is because it's got a pretty good defense, 2000, and you can special summon it if you've got a Melodious monster in on your field. So it's pretty good. It's nice for kind of spamming out. The second effect of changing the battle position, I never use. You can technically use it if you so wish, but I don't, and I have it at 3 because it's nice. 2 Serenade. Serenade is a interesting card. You use it nicely with all your big levels, so for example Mazata or your Christias, because it can be counted as 2 tributes for a tribute summon for a fairy type monster. So it's really, really good, and obviously when it's special summoned you can get an extra normal summon for your Melodious monsters. So it's really, really nice combos. First turn you can technically go into first solo movement with this and go into Mazata and such. 3 Sonata. Sonata is an absolutely incredible card. You can special summon it if you've got a Melodious monster on your side of the field, and all fairy type monsters gain 500 attack and defense. The buff for 500 attack and defense is really, really nice, and when you combo it with Aria, it's just so good, because Aria goes up to a 2-1, and this is on 17, and you just sit them there and just let your opponent get really frustrated because it can't kill them very much. So then going on to the non-specific archetype ones, we have 2 Christia. 3 Christia I felt was really cloggy. You're not really going to be summoning Christia off its effect with the exactly 4 fairies in the grave, because you can populate the grave quite quickly in this deck, and it's very difficult to actually control the amount of, monsters in the grave. You will be summoning this off things like Mazata, or tributing it with Serenade and such like that, or Call the Haunted. They're the most common ways you're going to get it out in the deck. 3 was really cloggy, unfortunately. I just hated drawing it at the times when I had it at 3. 2 is quite a nice number. 2 Herald of Orange Light. Don't really need to say much about this. You're running fairies, and this is an absolutely great card. Catches a lot of people off guard. 2 Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk's really good. I play I think it's about 11 spells. And Summoner Monk into Aria is just really, really nice. Because it just means that you can get off some plays, even Summoner Monk into things like Serenade, then you can go into your Mazata and just keep going from there. So it's really, really nice. Summoner Monk's good. If you so wish, it is a dark target for BLS, but I do not run BLS. Final Monster is 1 Honest, because you can recycle it and different things like that, but Honest is Honest. You play light. Going on to the spells, we have 3 First Movement Solo. I saw people saying that they only run 2 or 1 of this, and it really confused me as to why, because this is one of your strongest openings, and it also really brings you back from the dead, because you can just, top deck this, summon the Aria off it, and sit there and just watch your opponent scratch their head as to how to get over it once again, because there aren't many ways to get over it consistently. However, First Movement Solo is, if you control no monster, special summon 1 level 4 or lower Melodious monster from your hand or deck. You can only activate this once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters during the turn you activate this card except for Melodious monsters. So obviously this is a really good first turn play. Really, really good card. Solid in my opinion. I really wish it said level 5 or lower, because that would have been really nice just to get to Elegy and different things like that. But hey, what can we do? First Movement Solo is a staple at 3 in my opinion. Here's one of the cards that I really like and I use quite a lot. So, Celestial Transformation. Reasoning behind Celestial Transformation: you want to special summon your monsters as quickly as possible. You want to spam the field, and you just want to get basically as broken field as possible. Now, this obviously has a downside, because you can special summon a fairy from your hand, but its attack is halved and then it is destroyed in the end phase. But combo it with this little Elegy here, and it won't die. Use Celestial Transformation, summon the Elegy, it doesn't die, because that means, as its effect is, it's been special summoned. It can't be destroyed by card effects, and this is destroying it. This is a card effect destroying this. Doesn't happen. different things you can do with this. You can go, for example, Celestial Transformation into Mazata, summon this. You have 2 monsters there that can't be destroyed by card effects. There are other combos you can do. There's a lot you can do. But it's just a really, really solid card in my opinion. Really nice. The other things that I quite like doing that catch a lot of people off guard, surprisingly, is if I have a Christia in my hand, I set this and wait until my opponent's turn, and if they try and do anything like maybe Sanctum, or try and go for just a big splash summon play, the Celestia into the Christia is really, really nice. And don't forget the Christia will probably go back to the top of your deck as well, so it means that you haven't really lost anything, you've stunned your opponent. It's kind of a little mini vanities that doesn't really kind of neg you that much. Yeah, sure, it's a neg 1 technically, because Christia will go back if you use it for that. But alas, what can you do? But it's just a nice way to consistently get cards out of your hands onto the field and get the effects going. Similarly with this, 2 Photon Lead. I know there's 5 ways to special summon monsters out of your hand, but Photon Lead's good because it means you can just get to Aurea quicker, and just do different shenanigans like that. It's kind of needed. You need this because you can also use it with Serenade and then go into different combos. But 2 Photon Lead's quite nice, and that's just been working really well for me. 2 Transmodify. Transmodify is really good. Area into Elgi is just nice, and different combos like that. You can technically Herald of Orange into Sonata, but you're going to lose if you do that because that's a desperation move if I ever saw one. Transmodify at 2 has been working out well. 2 MST. Skill Drain wrecks this deck, so it's needed. But yeah, that's that. And 1 Soul Charge because you can legitimately just Soul Charge and not care about attacking because you can, worst case, do Elegy and Aria and just sit there and be like, okay, good luck. So yeah. Going into the final traps, you have 3 Call the Haunted. It's standard, like it's one of the most common cards you should be using in this deck at 3. In my opinion. 2 is just a little bit too lackluster. You don't really see it that often. I want to see it as much as possible because you want to get your combos off. And finally, we have 2 traps done, simply because we just want to stop anything that's a bit annoying. Any Sanctums that try and go off, or any skill drains that we want to stop for the turn, something like that. I don't know. It's completely down to you, but it's a skill drain. So getting into the extra deck, you can technically use things like Felgrand and stuff like that, but I've gone for a very rank 4 toolbox extra deck just because I think it's the most consistent. I never go into Felgrands. You can go into it, but I don't, so that's why I haven't included it. 1 Evil Sworn Exeter Knight. The 1 Larval Chain. This is good for ditching cards into your graveyard, and also for Fiendish Chain plays. Fiendish Chain? Call Haunted plays at until 4th, so Larval Chain is really important. Daigusto Emerald, just if you want to keep consistencies up and hand advantage. Hardline Drago. 101. Black Ship of Corn. The 1 Omega is important. The 1 Starlish Paladino, also important card. Castell. The 1 Kargan. The 1 Gagaga Cowboy. The 1 Abyss Dweller. And then the 1, I realised I said Bohemian Rhapsody with this card. It's Rhapsody and Berserk in one of my previous things. Good old Freddy. And then finally the 2 rank 3s that I use are Alucard and Wind Up Zen mains. You never really use these at all, but they're just there just in case I need them. So that is it, guys. I hope you really did enjoy the deck profile, since you were all asking for it. It's a really enjoyable deck. I really do like it. But yeah, there are issues with it, with the lack of boss monsters or good boss monsters. I know there is more support coming out for it, but it's all unconfirmed. So it would be interesting to see what happens with that. Another one that a lot of people were actually using was Valhalla and Heat Trice or Height Trice, whichever one's that. The reason that I don't run that one is because I have the Photon Leads and the Celestial Transformations, just because they are, in my opinion, better. They're less combo pieces and they're less susceptible to MST and such like that. So that's why I do that, just in case you were wondering. But, as I said, that is it, guys. I realise this is a bit of a longer deck profile, but with any new deck profile, any new deck that I do, I like to talk about it a bit more so you can understand my reasoning, and especially if this is the first time you've seen the deck, you want to pick up the deck, you want to know a bit more, I want to give you a bit of information about the deck, just so you don't really have to do as much searching. you can understand the basic combos, build the deck, and then get on with it and explore yourself. So that is it, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. Give me a like if you did like it. I want to see more likes on my videos just to see how many I can get. Technically a little bit selfish there and a little bit whorish, but there you go. So that is it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you did enjoy it, as I've said. Leave me a comment down in the section below. Like, comment, subscribe, and I shall catch you guys later.